Good afternoon. We're having a conversation today about the ORS 2012 annual meeting. We're talking about abstracts. So, could you introduce yourselves, please?
I'm Joan Bechtold, and I'm the program chair this year and second vice president for the ORS on board.
Okay.
I'm Mathias Bostrom. I'm the fourth vice president, and I'm a member of the program committee.
Great. So, can you tell me a little bit about how the abstracts you've received are evaluated and who evaluates them?
The abstracts basically are submitted in the process that all come in at the end of the deadline.
Mm-hmm.
At that point, they're keywords that have been assigned by the individual authors are then used to sort them into different categories that the different topic chairs will then be assigning them to specific reviewers that they've recruited to the process. So the reviewers then will receive a series of papers that encompass their expertise area, and as this being multidisciplinary, it's somewhat of a process.
Mm-hmm.
I think the critical part is that if the right keyword is identified, then it's going to go to the right reviewer, or rather first to the right program or topic chair, and then to the right reviewer. If the wrong keyword is entered, it ends up with someone who may not have the right expertise and may not be able to really understand the significance of the work that they're submitting.
Okay.
And really a point here for next year and for any year is that it's the first keyword that is identified really that sets the stage for where it goes. So it's really important to put the keyword that you think most clearly identifies what your work encompasses as the first one.
Okay, so people participating in our abstract process really have some control over how their work is actually evaluated. So the keywords
Mm-hmm.
are actually really paramount to the process.
Absolutely.
Okay.
That's how they're divided up into the reviewers.
Okay, great. Okay.
Then the reviewer gets anywhere from 50 to maybe even 100 abstracts to review in a relatively short period of time. They score them on a 1 to 4 basis, with 1 being outstanding and 4 maybe not so much. And generally, 4s don't get onto the program.
Okay. Okay. Very good. How do you decide whether the work is presented as a podium presentation or a poster?
That's something that has kind of evolved over time within the society. At this point, we found that the program benefits when we add the highest scoring abstracts are on the top of the program, the podiums. We've also added spotlight speakers as well. But the highest scoring abstracts get on the podium and have an opportunity for the people to ask questions and to really delve in a little bit to the work. The remaining and a large part of the program, most of the program actually, is in the posters. Those are then spread throughout the sessions.
Okay.
And divided up into the appropriate topics, so that spine and knee and hip and tissue engineering, those sort of things.
Okay, great.
So it's a tough job that the reviewers have. It's over, almost 3,000 abstracts that they have to go through. So it's and then to try to put a program together in presentations versus posters is challenging, to make sure that we cover all the sort of disciplines within the field of orthopedics.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, and it's important to realize too that we really do strictly go by the combined reviewers' scores, with very few exceptions in terms of what gets placed where. So obviously most people are going to hope that their work is on the podium, but that's not going to be possible for everyone, and it really is quite a cut and dried mathematical process of deciding what gets where.
Okay, very good. So can you tell me what the NIRA Awards are and why does the ORS have them?
So the NIRA Awards have been around at ORS meetings for quite some time. It stands for the New Investigator Research Awards, and it's really designed to encourage young investigators to submit their best work to the Orthopedic Research Society annual meeting. It's fairly competitive, and it really has really the best work that is being submitted. This year is the first year that we have them both not only give a poster but also a podium presentation to really spotlight or highlight this important work and encourage these investigators.
Okay. So with so many multidisciplinary fields within orthopedic research, How do you decide where various topics are presented?
That definitely is a problem and something we've been working with just today on the program committee. It basically comes down to a couple things. One is whether the main point of the research is the actual joint or tissue that's being used, bone, cartilage, for example, knee or hip, or if it's more of a generalized investigation of bone mechanics in a trabecular bone setting. So those types of distinctions really are kind of at the investigators' purview. That's where they see their work. But we have to figure out, within our keywords and topics where they fit. Like you say, it's a difficult thing. So we have actually just totally revamped our system and come up with what we hope are going to be more consistent and more circumscribed types of categories where it's going to be clear where your work falls into one category, not into several others. And we hope that's going to help make sure that we can match the appropriate reviewers with the appropriate topics.
And this is a work in evolution. Every year it's going to change a little bit depending on what's submitted. And we're at sort of the mercy of what the participants submit to the meeting. And so some years it's very tissue engineering heavy, and other years it may be more spine weighted. It's all what's submitted to the meeting itself.
Okay.
But I think we're still very fortunate that it's a very broad representation of all the musculoskeletal disciplines, and so that's, I think, remains the strength of the annual meeting and the society, is that this is the one place you can bring together folks within engineering, within biology, as well as clinicians, under the same roof to talk about the same problems, both from a research standpoint as well as a clinical standpoint.
And that was a real strength, actually, of the program committee, is that we had representation of all the different disciplines, clinicians, scientists, biologists, engineers, and each of us brought a different viewpoint and a different type of input to the process, which was really valuable.
Okay, great. Well, I'd really like to thank you, and I think this is really going to help the participants that were a part of this process understand how this process works.
I'd like to thank everybody for submitting their work and encourage them to do that next year too.
Great.
Absolutely.
Thank you very much.